Well, hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Women Like Me Stories in Business. I'm your host, Julie Fairhurst, and today I'm so excited because we have a new book coming out, and it's going to be released next Friday, which I think is, let me just quickly look. Yeah, it's the 25th. So, July 25th, we have a new book coming out, and Theresa Campbell is one of our fabulous authors. So thank you so much, Theresa, for being here, and thank you for writing in the book. I
Thank you.
really appreciate it. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I love writing. My history is I went to university at McMaster and studied English literature. So I've always been interested in books and reading and writing. I also worked as an educational assistant within schools. So I've done that for a number of years, and literacy is a big thing there. So I've always dabbled in writing. And I also worked, before I started working at the school board, I was a reporter for community newspapers. And so I've interviewed people, and whether they're athletes or business people or just anyone for news, for the local news. So I worked at that, and I did that for a number of years. So I've always been interested in stories,
Oh,
just like you.
and where are you located?
Hamilton, near Hamilton, Ontario.
Okay, perfect, perfect. I knew you were in Ontario somewhere, but I couldn't remember exactly where. So when you were working with the community newspaper, you were focusing mainly on community news, but the good type of community news.
Well, good and bad. Sometimes I would cover town council meetings. Sometimes I would cover on the street, interviewing people on the street, or covering stories for something happening in town,
Yeah.
whether it was recreational or business. So I learned to write stories from that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that sounds exciting. I don't think I've met anybody who's actually done that kind of writing and kind of reporting. So very interesting. Well, Teresa, can I ask you to start? What made you want to write your story?
Well, I heard about you from a friend of mine, and I thought women like me um, was a community that appealed to me because, like many of the women in the community, I've struggled with some childhood traumas, some anxiety, lots of anxiety, and trouble with facing my fears and making progress with my writing.
Mm.
So I was really happy to come and join the group and publish some stories and read all the other stories and get a feel for what other women are going through, because we are a community and we have to support each other.
We
So
do.
yeah,
Yeah. And it's interesting because so many women that write in the books, and we have 353 true life stories now. Um, they're most of them are quite fearful to get started. But
yes.
once they get started, and even with you, you're writing in the chapter books, you're writing in the community books.
Yes, I wanted to jump in, dive right in. I just thought I waited so long, I might as well jump right in, because I've had lots of stories that I wanted to tell. For example, the story that is in our beautiful Broken and Becoming book. I've had an idea for writing that story for a long time. I grew up as a figure skater as well, so I trained very intensely for probably 10 years of my life. And I met a lot of young ladies training, and we were just elementary age children when we started and late teens when we stopped. And we spent a lot of years, and that impacted me. And that is part of the story, but not all of the story. The
Yes.
story is really about anxiety and fear and getting over, um, well, depression, bereavement, that kind of thing. And so the story was really a launching pad for addressing those issues.
Yeah.
And women, if you have a good support group, and these women were my support group and have always been, you can make some progress through your your anxiety or your grief or whatever stage you're at, fears. You can talk with these people, and it's helpful. And throughout the course of the story, I have kind of an epiphany or awareness moment where I realized that these women have struggled as well. Not all the same, some more than others, but they were champion material because they have overcome many hardships, many really tragic events, and they have risen above that. And how did they do that? By believing in themselves.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And support from other women.
Yes.
It sounds like, because I've read the story, of course, it's
Yes. Yeah.
fabulous. And
Thank you.
what I really got with it was you were a tight, that was a tight knit group.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And and just to be there for one another.
That's right.
Yeah. It's a lonely place without your girlfriends.
It is. You can't face uh, trauma, depression, anxiety, bereavement. You can't face it alone, though you might try and you might get some kind of counseling, therapy, but you really need uh, a support group
Yes.
of really close, tight people, and not everyone has that.
No, no, you're absolutely right. Not everyone has that. Um, yeah, yeah, which is sad. I've had quite a few ladies who have written about certain trauma situations and how they found that the aunties and their grannies and their girlfriends lift them up and help carry them through that, and
Yes,
many of them say if it wasn't for them, I don't know what I would have done. So I do feel for ladies that have experienced and maybe are going through stuff now that they don't have that support system.
right,
Yeah. But
right.
there's networking groups. I live in Chilliwack, British
Yes,
Columbia, and when I moved out here, I didn't know a soul. And I thought to
okay,
myself, okay, well, and I actually really enjoyed it for about the first year because I was
quiet.
winding down from a very busy business and I was a little burnt out on people. And so I thought, oh, this is so nice. But then I got to the stage where, okay, now I'm lonely. And so I started looking, what could I do? And I started going to networking groups. And now I go to barbecues and I go for walks. And it's just a fabulous group of supportive women. And even though it's a business networking group, we talk, if you have a personal issue, you can throw it on the table and ask for advice. It's just, women are just so helpful and they just want to help
Yes,
one another.
yes,
Yeah. Aw. Well, so when you were at the lake, because your story
yes.
surrounds the lake, and your
It
sister is
surrounds,
there with you.
yes, my sister. I have a younger sister and an older sister, but my younger sister trained with me. My older sister had already graduated from skating by the time we got
Ah,
in there.
yeah.
So I spent a lot of time with my younger sister. And I addressed there's a bit of rivalry, but also there's just that tension that sisters sometimes have. We
Yes.
we we are best friends, but we can also be enemies sometimes too, because we can set each other off or trigger each other because we're
Yes.
both kind of perfectionists and want to please people and want to be seen as we're doing the right thing, and but so we can set each other off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a scene in the story where we kind of wrestling on paddleboards, and it's supposed to be funny because it really is.
Yes.
It's just sisters being sisters.
Yes.
um,
And it
so
doesn't
yes,
matter if we're 5 or if we're 30 or if we're
doesn't matter,
40 or 60.
doesn't
I
matter.
know. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you also pay some honor to a woman. I
Yes.
think she was your coach. Do you want to tell
Yes,
us a
she
little bit about
was.
that?
Now, we were all our friends at the lake. We were all skaters who trained at the same club under the direction of the same coach. That's how we got our start. Some skaters went on and went other places, but for most of for getting our fundamentals, we started with this coach, and her name was Lorinda, and she was old school. You get on the ice, you get to work, we've got goals, we have to make sure that we do the work that we need to do. And she was loved. She was very, very, very respected. Um, she passed away, I think, in 2001 or 2002 maybe.
Mm.
And anyway, we've always remembered the influence that she had on us. And I pay tribute to her in this story because she was everybody needs a coach, a mentor, and she was
Mhm.
the one who taught us the fundamentals, values of being an athlete, being a competitor, and what's expected, and how to deal with your nerves, and how to deal with um, just getting out there and trying and doing your best.
Yeah.
So I pay tribute to her because what we've achieved,
Yes.
and it doesn't have to be an Olympic gold medal.
No.
It is basically having being able to accomplish things in our lives, whether it's family, whether it's business, whether it's accomplishing achievements through your work, or my writing, for example. I attribute me overcoming some of my fear to her, but also realizing that all these ladies surrounding me at the lake have also been influenced by her, and are being successful and overcoming trials and tribulations because of what they learned from her. So I think it's important that I mention her in the book.
No, I thought that was beautiful. And when you were talking about her, I thought, isn't that amazing that you got that from a coach, even
Yes.
though she wasn't being uh, a confidence coach? Well, I guess she would be a little bit.
Yes, and
Yeah.
she wasn't mothering you. She was
No.
being firm, and
Yeah.
that is what is needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't be too soft as a coach,
Yeah.
because if you're going to train athletes, they have to be hardened, and not in a tough way, but in
Yeah.
a they have to have strength and
Yeah.
confidence and courage, and sometimes I struggled with that. But I also found that there were times after I was finished skating that I brought that into my other experiences, whether I was working as a reporter or whether I was working in the school assisting some special needs student. I realized that, okay, I'm feeling a little tired today, but I'm going to push myself because I know that this is my goal. This is what's expected.
Mhm.
This is what I want to do. Because sometimes if we don't push ourselves, we don't reach our potential.
Yes. Yeah. So often, even for myself, there's been 1,000 times in my life that I wanted to stop and just, but there was a corner and I couldn't see what
Yes.
was around that corner. And
Yeah.
and I always thought to myself, but what if it's just around the corner? Like, what if what I'm
Right.
after, what I've
That's
been
right.
trying to achieve is just around
Right.
that corner? You just don't know. And sometimes we could give up and it's just around the corner.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're so right. So that's the point I was trying to make in the story. That is that she pushed us to accomplish and do the best that we could and achieve whatever uh, accolades we needed to achieve, and that carried on into our adult life.
Yeah. I think it's just beautiful that if you think about all the sports and things that happen out there. I mean, no, I know not everyone's perfect, of course, but well, my two stepdaughters were in baseball and soccer, and so I think it is such a confidence building, and just as you say, it gives you tools to go out into the world
That's
and
right.
yeah, and work and deal with other people.
That's right.
Is
And
there's a
learn to collaborate and learn to
Yeah.
to to get the job done to the best of
Yes.
your ability.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So, what would you say to a woman that might be listening to this and she wants to write a story, but she's like, "Oh, I couldn't write my story." What would you say to them?
Read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. She
Oh,
wrote Eat, Pray, Love, but she
yeah,
wrote this book called Big Magic, and it's all about fear and being creative, whether you're a writer or an artist of some sort, and how fear is debilitating at times. It can cause you to stop and feel afraid and feel, oh no, no, I can't do it today. Maybe not this week, maybe next week, no, maybe next month. It causes you to put things off. You almost go into fight or flight mode. You
yes,
freeze. you freeze. You think,
Yeah.
oh no, what if they don't like it? I've got this story, and what if it's rejected, or what if people think it's really bad? She said, do it anyway. It's
Yeah.
expression. Get out there. And she said, ideas are magic. They're floating all around us, but we're
Yeah.
so busy stressing and getting worked up over other things that we miss those ideas. And she said she once had a great idea fall into her lap for, just she had this idea for a book about the Amazon, and she started writing it, but then something came up. She was, I don't know, maybe a year or two into the book, and she there were other personal matters that she had to take care of, so she had to put the book on aside. Well, didn't another author friend of hers, not know nothing about what she was writing, got a similar idea? She said those ideas float around, and if you don't stick with them,
Yes.
it's not yours anymore.
Yes.
She worked on the book. It's not like she shared it with anybody. Nobody saw what she was working
Yeah.
on. But another author friend of hers said, I'm working on this book. I've got it ready. I'm ready to publish whatever. And she said what it was. And she said, oh, that's so similar to what I was going to do. But she said, I stalled. It's my fault.
Yeah.
And you picked it up and she took it in a different direction. But
Yeah.
that's what happens. Ideas float all around us. It's like they say with money too. It's all around you. All you have to do is wait.
Yeah.
But ideas float around you, and it's almost like synchronicities, where you'll see something on a billboard, or you see this and that, and all of a sudden you join the dots, you get little ideas, and then it becomes a bigger idea, and then you go, oh yeah, I'm going to write about that. That's going to be really good. And then of course, you've got to nurture it. You've got to work at it really hard. But she
Yes.
said you can work on an idea, but if you procrastinate too long, you don't finish it, then somebody else is possibly going to, the idea is going to pop into their head, and they're going
Yes.
to take off and publish it before you do.
Yes.
So you have to be disciplined. She said some days you won't feel like writing, but write a
Hmm.
little bit. Don't stop, because the fear just gets in the way.
Yeah.
She said, yeah, fear can come along for the ride. She said when she's going to write a book, she says, okay, we're going to write a book now. Creativity can come with me and fear can come with me, but fear, don't open your mouth. Leave me
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
You can't say anything. Creativity and I are going to write this book, and you can
Yeah.
just stay off to the side silently.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just have to write your book, or paint your painting, or create your sculpture. You can't go, because yeah, some of us are perfectionists. Some of
Hmm.
us are just insecure,
Hmm.
don't believe in ourselves for some reason. And, we all have days where we're super confident, I can take on the
Yeah.
world. And then another day when, like, oh, no, I don't think I can do anything today. But you just
Yes.
have to be disciplined, have a routine,
Yes.
and, get up.
Routines are so
Yeah,
important.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm glad you
routine.
mentioned that.
Yeah, write every day. And even if it's not a
Hmm.
lot, write every day. Just have a routine, and also breaks where you go for a walk or you do something that's
Yeah.
enjoyable, so that
Yeah.
you can break up your day so it's not all,
Yeah.
work, work, work.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's so important. When I did the first Woman Like Me book, it was with myself and 13 of my stepsisters. I have a lot of stepsisters,
Wow.
stepsisters and good friends.
Good.
And I called them up and we wrote the book. And when the book came out, somebody messaged me and said, I just counted 165 errors in your book.
Oh, well.
Now, that's what I thought. I thought, oh, really? And then I went in, and my first thought was, wow, I can't believe that she actually sat there and counted them all.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that was my first thought. And then my second thought was like, oh, and then, but it could have, in my years earlier, that could have shut me down
yeah. You could have been so discouraged and embarrassed,
and
and
embarrassed and
no.
everything. And so I fixed the errors. And then
Yeah,
the next book had less. And the next
yeah,
book had less. And,
yes,
now I'm 38 books later, and it's rare that I get more than one or two. I mean, when you're dealing with 50,000 words,
yeah. It's easy to miss something.
there may be something in there for
Hmm.
sure. But but my point in telling you this story is that I could have just went, oh my gosh, I'm obviously not a writer. I don't have an eye for detail.
Yeah,
That's that. But um, I didn't let it do that to me, because I knew
yeah,
I was meant to do this. So I carried on. But it doesn't matter. thank you for counting my 165 errors
Yeah,
because it
that's
helped
good.
me. It helped me go, okay, you got to pay more attention to what you're doing here, Julie.
Yeah. Well, proofreading is hard work. Sometimes you get close to the material and you just you miss things because you're just so focused on the whole piece, not just parts.
Oh yeah. In the very beginning, I remember sending to the book designer my rough draft, not my rough manuscript, not my finished one. And then she'd email me and go, "Hey, there's like a lot of mistakes in here." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I sent you the wrong
Yeah.
one." So it's like you say, it's getting a system
Yes.
for and and following that. So now I don't have, knock on wood, I haven't had that problem for a few years now because
Yeah.
I'm very careful. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I name them different things and stuff. So,
Yes.
but yeah, so we the thing that I've found in the world, especially with women, is we look at other women and they look so perfect and they look
Uh,
so, and I like to tell people some of those stories because none of us are perfect and we all have to start somewhere. And so
right.
as a woman, it's just understanding and laughing at yourself, but and then saying, "But I'm going to do better. I can do better,
Yeah.
and I will do
Yeah.
better." So
Yeah. We don't have to judge ourselves too harshly. Especially the older we get too, I think, oh my gosh, I don't look as put together as I used to.
yeah.
I'm not going to do Botox, so I just have to accept myself the way I am. That's okay.
I read, what did I read a while ago? That our wrinkles are our wisdom. Each wrinkle is a piece of wisdom that comes to
Yes,
us.
yes.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, I should have lots of wisdom now. And just no one wants to get, sometimes you fear that when we get older, people are dismissive because they maybe not see the value or maybe think we're as wrinkled in our brain and memory as we are
Yeah,
within our,
yeah,
on the outside. But no, I'm not as wrinkled in my brain as I am
yeah.
on the outside. I can still write, and I'm still very active. I still go skating with my friends. I still go hiking. I believe that we have to stay active in our life, or we lose our mobility. We lose our ability to take care of ourselves. We don't keep moving.
That is the key. And also about because I believe that as we get older, we've lived through so much. And so we should, we have those things. How can we help other people with our wisdom?
Right,
What can we do?
right.
Is it with books? Is it with coaching? Is it
Yeah,
with
yeah,
what is it exactly that we can do?
yeah,
And so I think sometimes people will think, oh well, I'm done, I've retired, what do I the kids are gone, I
yeah,
guess I just hang out and watch
yeah,
Oprah. But there's another path for us, and it's just
yes,
again
yes.
getting past the fear and saying, well, okay, well, what can I do now with this next season of my life?
That's right. And I do
Yeah.
want to be productive. I don't like sitting to watch. I don't sit and watch movies. I watch movies once in a while, but I can't sit on the couch very long. It just doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I need to be
Yeah.
doing.
Need to be doing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can sit on the couch at night and and watch some of those
Yeah.
brain dead Netflix shows, but other
Yeah.
than that,
Yeah.
I'm
At
with you.
night,
I'm a
maybe, but
doer.
I do like to keep myself
Yeah.
occupied, and engaged with purpose. We all need
Yes.
purpose.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, Teresa, I have just loved talking to you,
Well, thank you.
and I'm so excited because Teresa, so what people might not know is that in when we do the chapter series, we have a group of ladies in a private Facebook group, but none of them know what each other is writing about. So in the next couple of days, there'll be some marketing materials going into the group, and all of a sudden, all of the ladies are going to get a full view or a peek anyway of what the other stories are all about. I always feel so blessed because I get to read every one of your stories and I know every story that's in the book. So it's super, super exciting.
Well, I
So
look forward to reading them too.
yeah, you're gonna love it. Gonna love it. Okay, so was there anything else that you would like to pass along to any of our people that are watching or listening before we go?
Oh, I don't know. Just that keep doing your art, keep writing. If you have a story to tell, put it down on paper and don't worry about it if it's perfect or not. Talk to someone who knows a little bit about writing, get help from Julie. I know you have places online that they can go and get some guidance, but learn how to put your story together because once you share it, I know even writing my story, um, I thought, oh, I don't really want to share some of these moments because I'm thinking about my late husband and I don't like to put it out but it's okay to make yourself a little bit vulnerable. It's
Yeah.
okay to say, you're stuck in a thought loop where you're kind of remembering and you're stuck and you're feeling sad because you think, oh, he's gone and he can't be here at the lake. But it's okay because that's all part of the story and it's okay
Yes.
to be vulnerable.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And by sharing that, there's for sure a woman out there
Yeah.
experiencing the same thing. And
Yeah.
hopefully she gets gravitated to the story
Yeah.
and she reads it and gets some comfort.
And hopefully she has friends like I do that are
Yes.
with you no matter what.
Exactly, exactly. Well, Teresa, thank you again. I'm going to put in the details section of our video, I'm going to have a link to our new book. And so if anybody's interested, they can get it. And also, we don't have any contact information for you, but that's okay. That's okay. People can always just get a hold of me if there's anything that you want me to pass along to Teresa. I'd be happy to do that for you. So,
Sure.
yeah, so thank you again, Teresa. I appreciate that. And everybody, will see you again on our next episode of Women Like Me Stories in Business. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.